What if I told you the key to losing weight, preventing disease, and controlling your blood pressure was based on a hidden health risk you didn't even know you had? Uric acid. Well, here to share this surprising new science is board-certified neurologist and author of Drop Acid, Dr. David Perlmutter. Welcome to the show, Dr. Perlmutter.
I am delighted to be here. Thanks for having me today.
So, Dr. Perlmutter, tell us, what makes our uric acid levels so important?
We now know that this is not your grandfather's uric acid anymore, that this uric acid, which is a metabolic breakdown product of things like fructose, sugar, and alcohol, is actually playing a central role in creating metabolic mayhem. It is a central player in things like elevation of our blood sugar, our blood pressure, and even signals our body to make and store fat. And, these are things that we don't want because, these are the underlying pillars of things like cardiovascular disease, Alzheimer's, diabetes, and cancer. And those diseases represent the #1 cause of death on our planet right now. Not some infectious virus, but the chronic degenerative conditions.
Would you say that in general, mainstream medicine is on board with the importance of uric acid to the extent that you are?
No, to the extent that I am, no. I would say that that's certainly the case here in America. Other countries have been dialed into the uric acid messaging for decades. Japan recently published a study showing, it was a study of 90,000 people over 8 years, and followed them and showed that having an elevated uric acid was associated with a 39% increased risk of cardiovascular death and a 35% increased risk of death from a stroke. The biggest inroad into elevating our uric acid, there are really three things. Purines, a chemical we'll talk about in a moment, found in certain foods. Alcohol, that's for sure. But the biggest issue by far and away is the sugar fructose. And, when we recognize that more than 60% of the packaged foods in our grocery store shelves have added sweetener because that makes them, people will buy them, and that by and large, these are derivatives or pure fructose itself, it's a scary proposition because it's really causing people to make more uric acid and therefore poses a powerful threat to their metabolic health.
Dr. Perlmutter, what else should we be avoiding beyond the sugar, as you alluded to, the fructose?
Purines are a type of chemical that we get when we eat foods like organ meats, liver and kidney, and processed deli meats, for example, certain shellfish, scallops, mussels. Now, it's not as if those are necessarily always bad foods. We have to know what our uric acid level is. It may be that you can get away with having a serving of one of those foods if you choose, if in fact your uric acid level is where we want it to be. You're not going to know unless you have it tested by visiting your doctor, or now we have the ability to test it at home, just like you might check your own blood sugar at home. You can go online and buy a uric acid monitor and check your own uric acid level.
What other lifestyle changes can we all make to lower our uric acid levels?
It turns out that lack of restorative sleep is associated with a raised uric acid level. We know that that happens directly, and we also know that having what's called hypoxia, lowering of the oxygen saturation of the blood, that occurs with people, for example, who have sleep apnea, a very common issue, again, turns on our body's production of fructose. That means more uric acid. So I'm really in favor of these new wearable devices that people can use to determine the length of time that they're sleeping and certainly the quality of their sleep as well. Now that we understand the connection of sleep to uric acid, there's even more reason to really participate in looking at our sleep hygiene, making sure that we get enough and that our sleep is of good quality.
Well, thank you very much, Dr. Perlmutter. I mean, you've opened up my thinking when it comes to uric acid, and hopefully our viewers out there too.
You bet.
To learn more about uric acid and Dr. Perlmutter's book, visit us at thedoctorstv.com.